Thank you so much. So عصر شما بخیر و صبح هم از سویتزرلند همونجوری که احمد رضا گفتن. I'm very happy to actually to present Colivar to you, and Colivar has a visions of democratizing wealth management for every woman. Before I would go to the pitch deck, I would like to actually to start rapidly introduce myself. I am a fund manager and I'm running my own asset management firm regulated in Switzerland, and I am a board member of the Manco in Luxembourg. Academically, I studied electrical engineering as my bachelor, which then I moved to mathematics, econometrics. And Karen is the co-founder of the Colivar, and we are both part of the Swiss FinTech Ladies. And academically, we are active in Vienna and Switzerland. So going to the pitch deck, Colivar is addressing the problem of women saving 38% less for their retirements compared with men. The problem arises through our pay gap that we have in our life, through our career life, and also is the crisis of the confidence when it comes for the women and financial matter, which mostly has been seen as the masculine problem. And also for the women is about 67% of the women. When it comes to the wealth managers, they will just look down at them. And the statistics shows that 70% of us are moving our banks or asset managers after separations or losing our partner. The way that the Colivar addressing this problem is creating a second income for women. How are we going to do that one? We have a technology approach and a regulatory approach, because we are regulated under the FINMA, which is the license that we are carrying proudly. And the way that we are doing it, we are using the generative AI in order to first discover the women when it comes to the investment profile, when it comes to the challenges and goal. And then we will set up the financial journey for every woman, not only based on her desire, but based on her situations that we assess. And then we will just providing the investment products, providing the financial literacy, and then providing a tracker for her that as any time that her lifestyle changes, that the financial journey for her is actually changing. And on the front end for the user, we providing a intelligent KYC, which is based on the chat that the users goes to our platform. And then through the chat, we will assess the user persona, that what type of persona is that one. And then after that, we will creating a customized dashboards for each user. On that one, we are providing the financial literacy, which is customized for her, and then customized based on the investment profile and based on the financial goals and where she's sitting at this stage of her life. On the regulatory views, we are using the KYC that we are using on an independent asset management firm, and then we are going through the investment profile that is contained the risk capabilities, risk assessments, and suitability tests. And on the back end, we are using the supervised machine learning techniques in order to understand the personas and come up with the better ideas for her financial goal achievements and investment products. So the platform has on the front end, as you can see, is the AI chat, so with the Q&As. And then as the middle part on the dashboards is the risk appetite and is the risk capabilities, which not all the personas are aware of the differentiation between those ones, but we will assess them with the supervised machine learnings that when the wealth accumulations and then the know-how is actually augmented, then we will just go to the risk appetite and we will create the new investment horizon for the user. On top of that one, we will just providing the educations, providing the financial product, which is the best suited for the user, and our watch list is the word. And at this stage, we are providing the funds mainly. So for us, it's the perfect timing because the women's wealth is changing. Women have more wealth in hands. At the other hand, our lifestyle has been changing. the parenthood, the education, and contributions to the household finances. And there is a trust crisis at this stage. After Credit Suisse actually went bankrupt, that then majority of the people are moving out of the big financials and looking for the independent advisor and wealth managers in order to actually to trust and take control of the finances. So today we have at the MVP stage, we still have some tractions. We have about 550 women on our waiting list with a conversion rate of the 17%. We set up the strategic partnerships with the VP Bank, is the private bank in Switzerland, that after that we can provide the digital onboarding for the women who they don't have access to the private bank, and IMD as our access to the experts. And our product, as I mentioned, is at MVP stage, and we are using the FINMA license, and we are reiterating the MVP as we are making a closed beta testing at this stage. So we are addressing a faster growing market that is about 20 billion private wealth in Switzerland and EU for women only. And our competitors, we are the only regulated inside out. That means that we are in the market that addressing outside, and we are using the technology for the wealth management to democratizing it as the technology has been democratized by the generative AI. And we are actually looking to raise about 400,000 in order to reiterate our MVP, and this is the pre-seed level to go to the market. And the monetizations level goes to the subscriptions level, that the subscriptions is for the intelligence KYC and then setting up the dashboards for each users. And then when it goes to the digital onboarding with our partner banks, then we are using a fees as a 0.5 basis points as a total assets under advisory. And then there are the ladies that they want us to actually to help them manage their assets, which we're providing 1% all-inclusive asset under management. So that is to going to the product market fit, and that's where we are at this stage. And I have the financial projections for you, but I put a couple of as a test case that then we are providing a different profile for the women. This is what the woman will see after the chats. And then she can also start it by bringing the financial goals. Then we will assess what type of investor she is and how she can actually achieve the financial goals. And we will come up with the tips with the help of our technology, and then we will just navigating the financial journey as the life is changing. So this is the end of my presentation, so I'm ready to take your questions.
So we have 2 minutes for Q&A. If you have any question, please raise your hand.
Hey, thank you very much for everything. You had a very clean presentation. I really thank for that. So I have one question. You are providing a gender-specific service, which means that, if I understood correctly, that you are providing services only to women. Do you face any backlash or any negative comments from the society or from your third parties like banks or universities or whatever else about having just very specific product for one gender? Thanks.
Absolutely correct. So the product per product is not exclusive. What is exclusive is the investment product that is matched with more women need. I made more than 200 interviews with women personally, and the way that we as a women invest is different from the way that the men invest. So we are more conservative. We are looking for the product which is more goes through the impact and sustainability. So Colivar is a wealth management platform that can actually address the whole users. But then investment product, it depends on type of the persona. And yes, I have receiving a mixed messages. You mentioned about the banks as a partners. Actually, banks in Switzerland, which I know at the moment, they are mainly focused on the women. because as I just presented to you, the women wealth is changing and inheriting more, and the women knowledge in Switzerland, they are really behind. And I'm in Zurich, but when you go to Lugano, it's even behind Zurich. So from the bank and institution part, I receive very positive feedback. When it comes to the startup and pitching, and actually the people who approach me, why can I not as a man using your platform? So this is more something that I don't want to be on the female side forever, but in order to start somewhere small and niche and get the product to the market, I started by the women, and there is a plan to go to the family, because we are providing the tax declarations, which in Switzerland is very important because we have our own tax declarations. So with that one is the family process, and then after that, hopefully that we open for the main market.
Okay.
If I answer your questions correctly.
Thank you. Any other question? Yeah, that's the last question.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the presentation. I love what you're doing. I love the company. I think it has a great future. We'd love to touch back on the revenue stream models. So from a customer perspective, what do they have to pay? And do they pay the subscription models and the fees at the same time? Could you just please elaborate on that? Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the positive feedback. It means a lot to me. So yes, the way that we plan at this stage is to have one subscription model that they pay annually. And then if they don't want to pay the subscription model, if they do have their own bank or private bank asset managers, which they have the financial advisor and access to the wealth managers, we can double check for them and providing benchmarking. So the subscription model goes for the women, which till today they did not have access to the wealth manager and to private bank. So we're providing that one, and then we are thinking about between, this is just a rough idea, with the tax, with intelligence onboarding, with the product suggestions, and with the setting up the financial life journey for her to have access to that fund. We are thinking about 2,000 Swiss francs per year. But then if it goes that she will say that I wanted to have exclusive access to the wealth management side, I'm happy with my bank, then we are providing the 0.5 basis points asset under advisory from Colivor, because we don't manage asset directly at this stage. However, for the women that they inherited or they separated, they have the lump sum, which they're looking for the trusted partner, independent, regulated, with the know-how, then we are serving them as more like a wealth manager, asset under management, which we are charging 1% all-inclusive fees, tax declaration, intelligent onboarding, product suggestions, and having access to wealth manager, like what we are doing for ultra-high net worth individuals.
Thank you, Mahnoush John. Looking forward to see you soon here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And it's my great pleasure to actually presenting to you this evening for your time and this morning for my time. So I cannot see the stage, but I'm more than happy to actually to take any questions at any time via LinkedIn, via the call or the emails. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And the second startup is Codelita, and I'd like to invite Aydin to come up and present his startup.
Hello. How does it go? Oh, you went too far. Go back. Go back. Here you go. One more. One more. Okay. Hello. Hello. Thank you for coming. It's a lovely Tuesday. There was traffic, and there's a lot of people here. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you to people who are watching us online, and sorry. Thank you to Plug and Play and PTN for hosting this event. My name is Aydin Nasiri Shah, and I'm presenting Codelita to you. Who has a smartphone now? Cool. Who has their rent or mortgage paid by coding? Like, who is a developer here? Oh, great. Who wants to be a developer? Okay. Other people are undecided. Cool. So our startup is about anyone can code. That's a very big statement, and that is something that we've worked 4 years to make possible. And as of 40 days ago, we are making that a reality. So what is Codelita? Codelita is an online platform, meaning mobile apps and a desktop web platform or mobile web or any device that you have, in which you can learn programming from scratch. By scratch, I mean zero. And by zero, I mean we have users who are sailors. We have users who are carpenters, doctors, housewives, and they're learning coding in Codelita. Our platform launched 40 days ago. This is our platform screenshot on Google Play and App Store. You probably have a phone that is one of these two types. We launched our platform on Product Hunt. If you're in the startup world, you know that it's a big deal. On October 6th, and on the day of launch, we got the Product of the Day award. That was a big thing. We received more than 700 upvotes, including from the founder of Product Hunt, and it was a massive success. This is some of the stats in the last 40 days. We have got 9,000 registered users from 105 countries. That's a lot. Our users have spent more time on our platform than the time we took to build it. That is 10,000 hours in the last 40 days. Since some people don't have access to payment, or they don't want to pay, they can't pay, they can't afford that, we provide a scholarship just like most educational platforms. And so far we have awarded 600 scholarships. We have got 80 people finishing our first course, and finishing the first course takes on average 20 to 50 hours, and people are required to code. So I don't know what you have in mind, but Codelita is not a quiz and videos and multiple choice platform. People actually code on their phone, and that's a huge deal. And we have got 240,000 codes submitted on our platform, 85% of which was on a mobile device. So you're like, hey, can someone code on their phone? Yes, we started Codelita 4 years ago with the same question in mind. And when we ask a lot of senior developers, they're like, nah, that doesn't work. You have to have a computer and laptop, and like even 3 monitors are not enough for you to code. So on a phone, are you kidding me? The funny thing is, your phone's keyboard probably doesn't even have the tab key, which is required for coding. So we made that possible. We are going to go through 7 core differentiators, core value props of Codelita. And here is, this lady is not a persona. She's an actual user who spent 16 hours, 530 submissions, and finished Codelita. There's a date over there, which is October 21st, and that's a real certification that we gave to her. And this is her word. I absolutely loved the keyboard. She is a resident of oral and something radiology. So this is the keyboard. Take your phone from your pockets, scan that QR code, and you don't need to install anything, set up anything. You can actually see what is this fancy keyboard with all these keys on your phone. I'm going to give you 20 seconds to do that. Or if you don't want to scan that, you can go to cod.la/cb. So we started Codelita with this hypothesis that, hey, can we make coding on the phone possible? Because we know that people have a lot of dead time on their phone, and they want to learn, and they pay for learning. An example is Duolingo. They IPO'd at $6 billion, and what they do is just they let you learn on your phone instead of like browsing social media. So we're like, hey, can we do the same for coding? And that's what we did. And our first test was to develop this keyboard that works on any device, Android, iOS, all Android, everything, and then you can code. So that's a live demo of that. You can get the app at the end of it. It's already available. People are falling in love with this because you get majority of the benefits of coding on the keyboard on your phone, and you can code from your bed. because you get like undo, redo, copy, paste, autocomplete, all these fancy things on your phone. The other thing that Codelita does is, so one of the biggest obstacles that people face when they want to learn coding is they write a piece of code, it doesn't work. Compiler, whatever, it gives like this nasty errors that is not understandable. And they usually ask someone like, hey, what's going on? And I receive like 2 pages of error and I don't understand it. And the answer is usually you miss a semicolon like 2 pages above. So we do that thing by providing an AI personalized feedback generator machine that actually gives people the feedback that they want, as if they have a mentor sitting next to them by their side. And the way that works is like this. So user writes the code that's in the background, and then when they're done, they hit that green button that you probably see if you have gone to that demo page. And then the code runs on their device, and it says like, hey, this is one of the tests that we gave to your code. It didn't work. And this green box is the personalized suggestion that our AI engine provides to the user. And no, it's not ChatGPT based. We started on this in 2019. The other core value prop is personalized curriculum. So our huge dream, which we will get to there in a couple of years, is revolutionizing education. That's a very big dream, and we will get there. One of the things that we are doing right now to get there is providing a personalized curriculum, because we believe that education should not be a one-size-fits-all thing. You get personalized ads every day on your phone. Why can't you get a personalized education or curriculum for yourself? Some people are fast learners, some are slower. Even the same person on different topics can be faster or slower. I'm going to quickly go through the rest. Another benefit, an embedded coding environment that you can just run the code pushing a button. It doesn't need you to set up like 5 different things. Our quality content. So most other platforms are just, hey, there's a ton of content over there, like 20 different courses. No. Codelita doesn't even give users the option. It's like, hey, you want to learn coding? Come with me. There's no option of like learn this or that. We teach coding, and the content is something that has attracted people to stay with us. Real coding, again, excuse me, we are trying to not be too abstract or gamified, and at the same time, keep it a little bit gamified. If you play with that, you will get that. And finally, there's a live demo of the code. I put this photo here, and this is going to be the last thing I'm going to go over. Is one of our users was from Bandar Khamir. I didn't know where that is. Apparently, this is 90 kilometers from Bandar Abbas in south of Iran. And he is 17, and he said he's in 2nd year of high school. And he was on an Android 10 device. And he spent 48 hours. That was around like 16 days, 3 hours each, on that Android 10 device. If you're an iPhone user and you don't know what that means, it is like iPhone 6. And he made 1,791 code submissions, pushing that green thing, to complete 300 lessons and got the certificate. And this is his word. This is a screenshot of what they sent to us in the platform, and said, thank you for making it possible for me to get to my passion, which is programming even on a weak phone. And we offer learn by building, not by answering. This is me. I've been to Google, Zoosk, some other startups, IOI, ASIM, ICPC, Sharif, Iran. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can email me a@cod.la or idin@codelita.com or idin.org. And please go ahead and scan these QR codes. You can get the app. Just go to cod.la/G. It goes to App Store or Google Play based on your device automatically. This is a live demo. If you can't afford paying, this is a QR code for a scholarship, or if you want to send it to someone who can't afford. Thank you.
Thank you, Aydin. Because we don't have time, we have to skip the Q&A, and if you have any question from Aydin, you can ask him during the networking session. Thank you, Aydin. Thank you. So, thank you. The third startup is Curb Hub. I'd like to invite Amir to come to the stage and present his idea.
Perfect. Thank you.
Great. Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for being here joining us. My name is Amir Khaleghi. I'm the co-founder and CEO of CurbHub. And today I would like to share a little bit about some of the exciting stuff that we are working on, and also tell a little bit about how we are going to actually reinvent the way that enterprise performance management actually should be in the future. So, okay, there you go. So, CurbHub is actually deeply rooted in transportation space, in distribution logistics. And this is actually where we are starting right now. And before I get into what we do in that space, what problem we are addressing, let's spend some time to understand actually what challenges players in this space are experiencing. So obviously, operators in this space are experiencing mounting pressure from major macro challenges, like shortage of drivers. That's something that we are hearing a lot these days, here and there. We have got growing expectation from the customers about the quality of service, lower cost, faster speed. On the other hand, these operators need to manage their operation usually across a number of different disjointed platforms. They have their ERP, they have their TMS system, they have their routing and scheduling technology that they need to use. But usually there's limited connectivity across these multiple platforms. And lastly, there's always the constant race against time. Like any other ops organizations, you have to always get the things out. And if you speak with an shipping company or transportation distribution company, they would always tell you, I wouldn't even find time to look into how I performed the last week, the week before. The problem that we actually, this creates is the data that they rely on when they make their decisions. In such a complex environment, they have to rely on the most readily available data that they can get hold of. And this is basically leaving them with limited visibility into what's actually going on. That means that the metrics and these surface metrics that they are looking at, while they're readily available, they can easily be pulled, they do not provide a full picture of what's going on in their operation. This means that there are hidden factors that are silently eating their profit. They're silently using up their resources, and it might not be even evident to them. The problem that we are trying to address is basically bring together a number of various data sources into one single source and serve up to this operator in a way that they can make decisions on top of them. So basically what we have created is a platform that gets information from a number of different sources, including the fleet GPS data, the telematic information that we have got, the operator uses, the routing and scheduling solution that they use, external point of interest data, for example, what is at the junction of data street, and this street is is a supermarket, is a gas station, why the driver is staying too long on this specific location. So there are a lot of external information that goes into what we do. A lot of on-ground ops signals, for example, the drivers, what they are doing when they actually do their jobs, the scan that they do when they drop off, when they load, how they're interacting with the customer, and obviously customer feedback as well. So what we do, we create a massive pool of various disjointed, basically, ops data, and we try to make sense of it using AI. We try to understand what is going on. To give you an example, all these players usually have got a fleet management solution. What they see is basically a moving dot on the map, and that's all they see. They see, okay, and basically what they use the solution is for is to go there, log in, and see when the truck is, when they will be back to the warehouse. What we do, we basically try to understand what the driver is actually doing. We understand what is going on. They are in this location. It's this proximity to a potential customer that they have, and we get this information from another system probably. We have got external point of interest data to understand what is actually going on every single movement that the truck is doing actually along the route. And we use this information to create a holistic picture of the operations that the company runs. But we are not just stopping there. We layer in financials in this. We try to use data from the ERP system that the company uses, for example, sales data from different customers, inputs of the resources that they use. We even enhance that using third-party financials and benchmarks, like, for example, labor rate in different markets, fuel costs in different market that they operate. And we try to put these together to provide a holistic picture of the financial health of the business. It's not just your on-time delivery rate is X and Y. We are telling them that customer that you have been delivering to for the past 6 months is actually over-indexing in cost and you are not making as much money. And this is something that usually is hidden to them and they have to get to in 2 years and after losing a lot of money. This is basically that integrated business performance overview that we are trying to get to. So the way that we serve up this is we call it the SaaS Transportation Intelligence Platform. So it's just a core offering. So it has got built-in integration with a number of core ERP platforms out there. Also, we have got integration with telematics systems like Geotab, Spirion, and a bunch of these major players out there. And we also have got add-ons that are basically the history of the company. And we have started building something else and realized that this is actually the pain point that a lot of our customers are asking for. So they can still actually use our powerful routing and scheduling technology, the third-party network of delivery service provider that we have created. But we recently actually added probably one of the most popular and exciting features that we have built. And that is what we call our AI query engine. So this is basically a layer on top of the insights that we extracted from the data. We are not, yes, this is ChatGPT, by the way. And what we do, we are not creating that conversational AI model, but we have the field knowledge and underlying data to train this model in a way that no average user is able to actually create that quality. So we call it Prospero. So this is basically our conversational AI that translates insights into simple dialogues. But what we do, we basically train it on top of transportation-related metrics, KPIs, business questions that business leaders in this space ask, things that an experienced leader would ask. For example, things like, look at the deliveries that I had for the last week, and which customer that usually orders on Wednesday didn't order actually last Wednesday for me. And things that might be easy at surface, but we have got a collection of business questions that actually unlocks a lot of value for the user there. The first time that we actually demoed this to a customer, he was super excited and pumped, and he started actually asking questions the same way that we have created this. And they're telling me that we are running out of time, but we have got an amazing team. We have got expertise in the logistic, data science, and finance. Our collective experience goes back to years of leading data analytic expertise, finance, research, and we have got an amazing and data analytics lead as well, heading a lot of our initiatives. So that's us. So if you are interested in our work, just come find me. And we are soon opening around, and we are also looking for partners who are going to use our platform if they want to. And if our tech partners, come see us to build integration. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Amirjan. Thank you. So, the last but not least, I'd like to invite Sara Javanmardi and her entire team to the stage and present their project to the audience. Thank you. It's interesting.
Hi everyone, my name is Sara Javanmardi. I'm a computer scientist at Google DeepMind. I've been at Google for 11 years. For the first 8 years, I was at Google Search, working on many features from indexing to ranking and autocomplete. 3 years ago, actually more than 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I moved to Google Research to build the big LLMs. To be honest, we had the first ChatGPT, but because of a lot of pressure in the market, we didn't release it. So now we have BARD. And on top of BARD, we have a new model called Magi, or SGE, Search Generative Engine, that, unlike ChatGPT, is fully grounded and highly factual. So many users are already using our product, and it will be publicly available soon. So just, if you don't know what is SGE, go to Google Labs, sign in, and benefit from this product. As my side job, I do 250 hours training on STEM and robotics for kids. My team is very diverse. I have 5 kids, 4 of them are Persian Americans. Only one of them is Indian, and she's been with me since she was 4. So I don't have all of the team members here, so they live in different cities. We get together over weekends, but I was able to get 3 of them. The middle one is Ava, which is my daughter, and Cyrus and Aisha. So they have been with me for a few years. And we have a Lego robotics team called Marvelous Moochies. So I would love to give the microphone to the kids so they present their robotics work, their innovative project, and I call them little entrepreneurs. Okay, let's pass the microphone to Cyrus.
So there was a Lego robotics competition, and for lots of months we have been studying very hard, and we have committed all of our Saturdays and Sundays working on this Lego robotics. So on November 4th, when the competition started, we won the masterpiece, the championship award, and we were able to go to the next round in state. So they graded us in order for us to go to the next level on the challenge pillars. These challenge pillars are the innovation project, which is our book, the core values, robot design, and robot performance. There you go.
So we have STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And this year they added A for art, so STEAM. And the innovation project this year was to share our hobbies with other kids. So we all like reading books. So we decided to take a popular book and we improved and summarized it. And so there are many reviews, websites, articles about this book, and there are thousands, and we can't read those all. But generative AI has, so we use Mid-Journey to produce pictures for our book, and we use Google Bard and SGE to add relevant details. The difference between Google Bard and Google SGE is when you type in a question for Google SGE, it will give you a reference for every sentence. And for example, if you click on the reference, it will show you, for example, a website, and it will highlight the part where it got that information from. And why did we choose this book? First of all, it is the bestseller of the 20th century. Second, it has many important messages that we want to bring it into the 21st century. And last, this book is appropriate for all ages.
Now we have moved on to the state level competition, and we want to try our best to make our innovation project as good as we can. For the previous round, we got feedback from judges such as research more, connect with AI more, and run some surveys. To include AI more, we decided in our online book that if users click on a sentence or paragraphs, a message will pop up and you get more relevant details using AI. Today we are here to ask for help, and we would love you to get our book and share with others, and maybe give us some feedback. And if you have some questions about raising money, please ask our coach, Sarah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Yeah, it will be the first application of AI in the booking industry, so we will have an app that you can upload your book. Then it will be connected to one of the open source LLMs that by clicking on the paragraph, you would see the summarized information learned by that model by seeing the entire web. Okay, thank you for time.
Thank you. Good. Now I'd like to invite Mr. Saeed Nesbat to come on and start the fireside chat and the first introduction. Thank you.
Salam, hello. Good to see so many familiar faces over here. Before I start the fireside chat, which is the important part of this meeting, I would like to get your help to do an experiment in order to increase our networking capability over here. We go on hikes on Saturdays and we have honed some of these techniques. So if you will, help me do this. I would appreciate that. Everybody, I want you to stand up. Wake up? Yes, wake up. Stand up. For the next part, find someone that you do not know or you do not know very well. Go ahead. Go ahead. Find someone. Come on. No. Come on. You don't know what to do yet. Don't start anything. Do not start anything. You're ruining it. I will give you 1 minute. And what I want you to do is as soon as I say go, I would like you to turn to that person and tickle that person. Come on. If you can do that, you can master anything. No, really, but spend 1 minute. Spend 1 minute to introduce yourselves and learn more about that person. Okay, 1 minute, going on. You got 1 minute. Hold on, let me see what time it is. Hold on one second.
Will you put this in your pocket?
I would put it in my bag. Put it in my belt. No, not in my pocket. In my belt in the back. Or the belt.
Two other mics for up there?
Yes.
Just take this one with you. So 1 and 2.
40 minutes, that's okay. اون میزم بذار. Sean, Roshan, is okay. The 1 minute is over. Stop. Come on, come back. Patient. Okay. Now we have to do the other trick then. You're not coming back. All right. Everyone, the 1 minute is over, please. See, once you get started, you cannot stop that. Please sit down. We're going to start the program. Okay, people in the back, People in the back, please pay attention over here because we hear you, all right? I will wait until everyone stops. If you want to conduct a conversation, please go to the other room, okay? All right, thank you. So how was that experiment? Now you can continue after the fireside chat. You can continue talking to those people, and then you know the technique. You can start tickling someone, and then you're in. You would be able to do that. For tonight's fireside chat, we have the founders of Deep Cell, cell analysis startup company, cell analysis using AI and morphology. The founders are a husband and a wife, which is very unusual. And they're both techies, and the length of their marriage barely exceeds the length of their company. So we're going to get all the insights about how is it working with the company and being married. Please join me in welcoming Mahdoukht Madison Masaili and Mahyar Salek. Please come on over here. Can I have you to sit in the center, please? And Mahyar will. Yes. Oh, and you got 2 mics over there. So. What is it? Chairs are comfortable.
Uncomfortable.
That's uncomfortable? All right.
Intentionally.
That's the point.
Mine is the same. So your startup company, well, comes in later. Let me start up with you and you growing up.
Can we do a salam first?
You can do a salam, yes, of course. Go ahead.
Hi, salam.
Salam.
Everybody say salam back. Okay, I would like to start with your background first, as we usually do over here. I would like to start with you, ladies, first. You grew up in Iran. You were born and you grew up in Iran. And you went to Sharif. What was your major over there?
I studied electrical engineering.
And what high school did you go to?
I went to Farzanagan.
Farzanagan. Okay, so were you part of the Olympiad also, or no?
Very early stages.
Very early stages.
Yeah.
And
Didn't
then
make it all the way
after
through.
Sharif, you came to the United States?
That's right. Yeah.
And where did you go?
I went to Boston. I went to Northeastern University to do a PhD in electrical engineering.
Uh-huh.
And then, shall I continue? Or
Go ahead.
How do you
I
want
will
to do
stop
this?
you sometimes.
I just heard you can be brutal, so I'm just trying to.
I
figure
can
out.
be brutal? Oh, come on.
You gave us 1 minute, and that's all I learned from the person.
Oh, you said I'm no sense said that.
So I came to the US wanting to continue down the electrical engineering path, and then I completely randomly got introduced to this amazing professor at Harvard. His name is Ali Khadim Hosseini.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't heard of him, which I'm sure a lot of you have, he's a great asset of our community, I believe. We completely randomly met at an MIT party, and then I got interested in learning more about bioengineering and life sciences. So I went to his lab and I switched over. So I used to spend until 9, 10 p.m. and then weekends in the lab trying to do really exciting work in what was called tissue engineering.
So the professor made you switch from pure engineering or the world of atoms and electrons into something live,
sciences.
essentially.
That's right. And then after that experience, I decided to switch majors. I applied. I got then my PhD from UCLA in biomedical engineering. After that, I worked for about a year in industry and then went back, wanted to become a professor, and then the rest maybe we'll
So
cover
first
later.
it was your academia love that you wanted to get into.
Yes.
And someone changed that, right? Or something or someone changed that. I guess for that story we're going to go to...
I don't think.
Well, maybe I can.
I'll take that blame.
No,
I'll take
why
a
don't you
step
start
back.
with your
Yeah.
background? You were born in Iran.
Yeah, born and raised in Iran. I also went to Sharif.
But you were both in Sharif within several years, but you didn't know each other.
We didn't know each other all the way until we got here. in San Francisco, because we also spent some time in Los Angeles. I went to USC, she went to UCLA, but
you did not meet over
we
there.
were very focused on
So you were
studying.
bound, you were shadowing each other over the years. You were bound to meet. And when did you actually meet and where?
Oh, where did we meet? We met at San Francisco City Hall, which a few days later we actually got married there too, for a Nowruz party. Yeah, but anyway, so it's back to that Sharif computer engineering. Then I came to USC for PhD in computer science. Then I did a little tour of Europe for internship at Amsterdam, and then postdoc at Microsoft Research Cambridge. And then I came back to the US for work. First, I did a startup on my own. I crashed. Then went to Google, worked there for a few years, and then I started the second one.
Before starting the second company, you got married.
That's true.
And a year after that, you started your company, which is your baby in a sense, right? So who's the boss over there? Wait a minute. Yeah, she is. She is the
question.
CEO and you're
No
the
question.
technology.
That's the right
Whose
answer.
idea was it? That's the right answer. Whose idea was it?
Well, you say, boss.
It was really a really interesting entanglement of work and us getting to know each other. And I think one of the first things that got us both attracted to one another was the passion that we had for what we do. And I think throughout that conversation, I was trying to do something very challenging. I was a postdoc at Stanford at the time when he was at Google. I was trying to do something challenging on my side. I shared that with him. He was thinking a lot in AI and deep learning world because that was where he was launching a product. And kind of the ideas came together throughout a lot of conversations. Can't really tell whose idea it was first. We started talking a lot about how we can apply some of what the tech world has been kind of adopting at that point, and then what we can use it for in the problems that we were trying to solve. We also have a third co-founder who is my postdoc advisor, Dr. Ewan Ashley, who is a great figure in as a clinician and a statistician and a Stanford professor. We've been very lucky to have him on our side as well. So the three of us would get together and dream a little bit, and then the whole project Deep Cell started when we filed a patent at the Office of Technology Licensing at Stanford, and we got.
About what year? This is 2018.
This is 2016.
16.
This is 2016.
Preceded 2 years, by 2 years doing the company actually.
Yeah. Yes. So yes, we got our patent filed, and then throughout conversations with the OTL, we got funding. We had an hour-long conversation, by the end of which the director asked us, how much do you need to build a prototype? We said 250K, and they gave us 250K.
Right there?
Right there.
Oh, wow.
And it was, so we went in thinking that we may get 20, 30K, which was usually what UN told us, this is how it works. And then by the end of it, they were so blown away that they were just ready to move ahead. So that was a big point in the journey of Deep Cell, both in terms of the financial means that helped us then build a prototype, but also a validation, really, of like people who have probably heard some of the most interesting pitches during that period. So that's how the project got kicked off. We were working after hours. We also had a software engineer who had a full-time job and was joining us after hours as well. And then we got data and more funding, and then we spun the company out in November of 2017. So Excellent. It's been 6 years
Excellent.
now.
So you've been at it about 7 years now.
Yeah, 6 years out, and then about a year and a half, 2 years before that in the university.
How did it start, and how did the idea change, if anything? Usually you start with something and you pivot, you modify it. How did it start, and where did it end now? I mean, it hasn't ended, you have a journey ahead of you. How did it change over the 7 years?
It changed a lot. I will give it to you to explain that. But one of the things that I tell myself is if I ever become an investor, that's what I would focus on. If I become an early stage investor, I will help my founders work through the pivot that I know they will have. so
Okay, so Mayor, what was the pivot?
So the way it changed, so initially we were like, okay, so cells, interesting cells look different, right? And we were like, okay, so but what's the application, right? So we were basically intending to build an application for that. And the application initially that we actually got inspired by was there was this interesting group of cells called fetal nucleated red blood cells, which were circulating in mother's blood when they're expecting a baby. And the interesting thing is that there is no method to get these cells out. If there was a method, you could have basically take a test of mother's blood and sort of it would be equivalent of basically taking a biopsy from the baby, right? So, and we were like, okay, so they
you
look
could
different.
separate it from mother's blood, essentially.
Right.
It's other things in mother's blood plus these foreign objects, foreign cells that you could get,
Exactly.
and thereby do your biopsy. Yes.
Right. So we were like, okay, so this is a very clear application, clear need. Let's build that. And then we started developing that, and as part of it, well, we had to develop a lot of just the underlying tech, right?
When you say we, at this point, were you focusing on the idea, both of you together?
Yeah.
I want to
Yes,
know
this
who was selling the idea to who? Was it mostly she selling it?
So we both got interested by the tech. We were like, okay, so this tech is super cool. We have to just build it, right? And then we were like, okay, so what would be the application? And the application we actually got inspired by some of the conversation that we had with the industry folks. And we're like, well, this is clearly a problem in the industry, right? And then as we were building just the tech to do this, we realized that there's an overwhelming interest in many other applications that this tech could do at the same time. So, and then it just, it took us actually a couple of years to bring us to the mindset, to that pivot mindset that, well, actually, it's best for us to build the tech and enable, instead of just one application, enable now like
many of them. Make it generalized.
Tens, hundreds of applications.
Maybe this is a good time to talk about the tech. What is the tech? My understanding is the tech is the analysis of a single cell based on a multi-dimensional AI analysis of the cell's vision, essentially, the morphology or the shape of it, many factors.
So that's one part.
That's one part.
And then the other part is to make this analysis literally actionable, meaning that it's not just a model that analyzes a cell, it's a robot that picks the cells based on what when I say robot, it's not a humanoid robot.
Yeah.
It's a micro robot that sort of
pushes them aside.
Pushes
Yes.
the cells into different directions based on what they are, right? So so if you think about it, so it's all that hardware, it's the AI that powers that, and it's the data that kind of powers not just a single application, but basically a foundation model that powers a lot of application.
Okay, so that's the tech. The tech allows you to do some fundamental sorting of the cells that you have no information a priori about. But you don't judge what these cells are, right? You just separate them. You just put them into the different categories.
So the foundation model is trying to tease apart what looks similar or different from what, right? Now there's a whole backend of database that we've built with a lot of context around a lot of these images. So we have built a database of over 2 billion images that we have context around. And that can help us serve our customers by showing them your cells look like diseased monocytes in the blood, or your cells look like late stage cancer cells of skin, for instance. So we can provide that type of context, but we're not providing a clinical test. We're providing that information to our customers, to our users, some of whom are developing clinical tests, for example, for certain use cases. So that's one piece of it. Another part of the whole gamut of what we do at DeepCell is that we have built this database, and our biggest asset, one of our biggest assets, is this growing database where our customers, by just running the system, are providing a lot of information and context back to the community and to other users. So by providing links to saying these cells actually are similar to those cells or categorize them the same way, they're giving our AI more information. That's very hard to get to with the current way that
Not only
that
they
biology
give you
works.
the labels, they tell you what happened to them, right?
Yes,
The
they can.
eventuality of it,
Yep.
because that feedback is very important. Otherwise, you don't diagnose things.
Yeah, we don't.
You just
but
provide the
the-
platform.
there are specific problems in our field. For example, within diagnostics, there's a big category of what they call atypical cells, which are cells that a pathologist or a cytologist cannot categorize as a normal cell or a cancer cell. So they just call it atypical and they pass it around to do other tests. What we can do is we can distinguish these cells from other types of cells. You can sort them in real time on the system. And we sort live cells because we're just watching and observing cells. We don't do anything harmful to them. So you can then in a downstream do whatever you want to do to figure out whether these are malignant cells or normal cells. And you can feed that information back. So that's the feedback loop that is very unique. And then it enables additional clinical tests that never existed before.
I'm sure you will have some challenges ahead, but you're already recouping some awards. You just received the Life Science Catalyst Award by Biocom California, the association representing the California life science industry, and Deep Cell REM1 platform. REM-I, thank you. I was about to ask you that, I forgot to ask you. REM-I, why is it called REM-I? What's the abbreviation?
We just like the ring. It rings well. Well, because there's also the rapid eye
I'm sure
movement.
there's a reason there's an I there. Come on, tell me.
So the rapid eye movement
Yes,
stage of
yes,
the
yes.
sleep.
You just wanted to separate that from that.
So we were like, okay, so this is a dreamlike experience, and it's when interesting things happen and cells are rapidly moving. So we were just inspired by rapid eye.
So there is no REM separate from rapid eye movement.
No.
But it's yours. Okay, it's eyes. All right. REM-I, everybody. And Deep Cell REM-I platform named Cell Imaging Product of the Year by the organization Biotech Breakthrough. Round of applause for that. So the topic that I have discerned is disruptive AI-driven approach to single-cell morphology analysis to fuel deep biological discoveries. Hopefully the reward is deep biological discoveries that in a few years we will witness. But disruptive, why is it disruptive?
Well, it's very unorthodox to anything that people are doing out there because, yes, in one world, they come up with chemicals, they add it to the cells, and the cells react to chemicals, right? And then from that reaction, they sort of understand, okay, so what type of cell they're looking at. And it's almost like the Schrodinger's cat, right? As soon as you open the box, it's not the cell anymore. It's something else. It's the reaction of the cell to that chemical, right? Yes. So there is that world. And then there is the world of people who are just like spending hours behind the microscope, sort of analyzing, in some cases debating what they're seeing. So what we are doing is neither of that. We're actually like doing very scalable computational analysis using AI, but also keeping the cells alive to do interesting things post. And that's why it's disruptive to all like those disciplines.
None of your competitors do this.
So when we started, this was a wacky idea, and like we were like why this is gonna work. Like now we actually when we launched a few months ago, we at this conference they were like, oh, so you guys are leading this trend of like, well, I don't know, yes, well, you could call it trend. So there are actually a few both small startups as well as big companies who are some of them basically they made their entire business selling chemicals. Now they're advertising biomarker free products, which is that basically that trend that people are referring to.
Excellent. You told us that your first check was $250K. Eventually, you have gotten something close to $100 million so far.
No, we finished the product with that 250K.
You finished the product with it? No, but I'm talking about the state that how much money have you raised so far, and how many people are you?
About 100 million, and we're about a little over 100 people.
Very good. And this is a success story of a startup that has the path wide open for them. DeepCell REM-I platform has the potential to drive breakthroughs in understanding cellular processes, diseases, and therapeutic interventions. Which one of these do you think is going to be more important in the future, if you were to pick one?
I mean, it's very hard to tell. I think right now we have partners and users and customers who are actively pursuing all three: discoveries, developing new therapies, and developing new diagnostic tests.
Who's your biggest partner in this?
I don't think we have rights to share.
You can't tell.
Names
Okay, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, but what I would add to that is what we learn over and over is that you can outsmart your customer, meaning that you cannot tell them, hey, this is how you should use the product. You should basically build a product and see how they use it, and sort of based on that, change quickly and like learn how to. So for that reason, we're trying to kind of like offer a true platform that people could do many things with, and observe like what they do to basically take that platform to the next step.
You also have some proprietary technologies, I think, to take the images, right? Is that something that you developed yourself?
Yes,
There
we
was some
developed the
physics.
hardware. Yes.
Yeah. One other thing that we usually ask people, and I neglected to ask, and since you were both Sharifis, I think you would be proud to mention is, what are your concours ratings?
Oh, no.
26.
26, not too shabby. And yours?
Mine is large. 150 something.
Still is very good.
I was one of the last people who got accepted to the computer engineering program.
Well,
at
120
Sharif.
people they take.
Yeah,
and
I don't know, like it.
Okay, but there remain some challenges, right, in your path to stardom and doing all these wonderful things. And I've written some of these, and I would like to get your feedback on these. We probably don't get to all of them. One of them is the algorithmic challenge. Developing and refining sophisticated AI algorithms for high-dimensional cell morphology analysis can be challenging because ensuring that the algorithms are accurate, robust, and adaptable to various biological contexts is a complex task. How does DeepCell address potential challenges in the accuracy and robustness of the algorithms, especially in the context of analyzing complex and heterogeneous biological data with the REM-I platform? And we already see ChatGPT hallucinates sometimes and tell us wrong. How can we be so sure that the results we can depend on?
Yeah, maybe I'll start and then you chime in. So I think about this in like a few different ways. One is that when you look at AI in life sciences, a lot of AI applications in life sciences, they relies on data sets that are large. That's what you need to start with to even be able to benefit from the value that AI and deep learning provides. A lot of that data is in the genomic space right now. So the community has decided over the past decade that they want to invest heavily in genomic analysis. The Human Genome Project was kicked off. And the challenge with applying AI to something that is hard to interpret is very real in life sciences. So you don't see the outcomes readily. It's not like you're talking to a chatbot and you can see what the answer is. It's very difficult to interpret the results, and therefore it's very hard for the life sciences community to adopt something like AI, where there's all sorts of biases. The beauty of the image data is that it's right in front of your eyes. So you can assess for yourself. You can see for yourself basically whether the result of the foundation model projections make sense or not. We provide very easy to use platforms that you can just visualize cells that the classifier, the model has categorized in different regions. So that is the first level of understanding of, does this make sense? Can I trust this? The other thing is that we have the sorting capability. Like we said, we don't have a diagnostic test to sell, But what we provide is the ability of the AI to tease apart healthy versus diseased, responding versus non-responding, patient cells that are reacting to cues versus not reacting. And then a clinical test developer can go and pull out those cells and do the ultimate clinical assessment based off of the cells that the AI is sending out. The point being that the AI is not the ultimate diagnostic test that a lot of people in life sciences are scared of. It's a means to give you purer samples and better understanding of what's going on in your sample. And then lastly, what I want to mention is we have been very diligent in how we have built the model. We have gathered a lot of information both from our employees and also amazing advisors that have guided us as to how to build this model to adjust for biases and make sure that we are collecting different portions of the universe appropriately as it relates to human samples, basically.
I mean, not much. Maybe from a different perspective, because I'm a trained computer scientist, kind of turned into, I don't know who I am now, but so as a computer scientist, you deal with very clean world, right? I mean, if you just open your coding IDE, everything is just clean and it's just your mind is very used to abstract and clean world. And then biology is the opposite end of that, right? There's just a number of confounding factors that could mess your models is just staggering. So I think one of the things that we did to overcome that, especially in early days, was to control that environment through innovation in hardware. Because we weren't just writing algorithms on existing data sets. We were generating the data sets ourselves. And that helped us, get a lot more efficient with algorithm development.
When you say hardware, do you mean the imaging hardware or the pushing hardware? Both of them,
right?
So those are proprietary. You have patents on those.
Yeah.
Okay. That leads me to the other point, interdisciplinary impact. You're bridging the gap between biology and AI, essentially, right? And it requires deep understanding of both these fields in order to succeed. Integrating diverse components in the MI platform, such as imaging, sorting, and analysis, poses a challenge in terms of seamless collaboration between experts from different domains. Okay, and the goal of course is to make an impact on various fields such as cancer biology, developmental biology, stem cell biology, gene therapy, and functional screening. None of them are small. I mean, these are huge areas. How does your company plan to ensure that the platform remains versatile and effective across all these diverse research disciplines? The requirements are very different.
I frankly think, well, first, it's not a problem that we have honed. We just say oh, that's a solved problem. It's a challenge we deal every day because people from those fields speak different languages. They have different ways to implement a project. The PDP process, the product development process, is very different across hardware, software. But there's a lot of differences, and I truly believe that the next generation of companies, the ones who are going to succeed in this multidisciplinary mode, are the ones that could nail how these different groups of people, different paradigms could work together. And it's I don't know, I don't have a good answer. I mean, we think about it every day, but I think that's the first step, to just accept that, hey, we have to talk.
It's
and
a
we've
great
failed
challenge,
many
yeah.
times. We
Go
have
ahead.
failed many times. We have, like Mayar said, this is an active conversation internally. It's very difficult to bring in people who are used to the mindset of agile, software development with hardware that it's ridiculous to think about a problem in the hardware world like that, and then the data issue, and then the bio part of things. So all these different people have very different life experiences, very different expectations of what a product means, what expectation of a customer could be. Even within our product managers, the people who are handling software and cloud versus hardware, it's very challenging to help them talk to each other. So we've gone through various ways of inventing on our own PDP process, which doesn't fit into either. and it's still a work in progress. We can't tell that we have found the solution, but that's something that's very real and gets very real as things become slower and harder to, just have very effective communications as the company grows. So it's challenging. The last thing that you mentioned there was like all these application areas and being very diligent about where this data set and this model is going. Because if you get a biased set of customers that push your sample sets and data set towards one area and not recognize that, now
the generality that you need
exactly.
to keep. Yes.
Then, because when we first got started, we had a lot of thought going into how do we want to build this data set. Now, if we open it up completely and let everybody bring in their data, then we got to adjust for potential biases that can introduce. And having a lot of experts around the table, our key opinion leaders, our scientific advisory board that are also very multidisciplinary and all have interests and understanding of all these different applications has helped a lot in figuring out how we should move forward and correct for data biases.
Related to that, but slightly different, is biological validation and the real-world applications. This is similar to self-driving car. In essence, you can write a code that predicts all these corner cases, but in reality, it rains and it snows and somebody walks in front of it, all bets are off because the real world is different from the AI imagined world. How does your company plan to validate the biological advances and the accuracy of finding from that comes from REM-I platform? Additionally, what strategies are you putting in place to translate these discoveries into clinically relevant applications in real-world scenarios?
Yeah, so that's not our job. That's our customer's job.
Oh, you provide the platform and they do it. Okay.
But what we are here to do is to make sure that the foundation model is always producing the same exact insights every time you run it. And there's this biological processes that you have negative controls, positive controls, the number of controls that you have technical replicates, biological replicates. So we put the foundation model on REM-I through a lot of these well-known tests in life sciences across many different samples.
Excuse me, people in the back, I see Mr. Fatih back there. If you please take your conversation outside because it's really distracting. Thank you very much. Go ahead.
So we have put the platform through a lot of well-known biological replicates, technical replicates tests to make sure that the model is not hallucinating, is always creating the same maps, the same patterns from the same exact samples. But in terms of developing a clinical tests, we're glad that we are enabling our customers to do that.
I have many more questions, but I don't think we have time for all of them. And I would like to leave some time for your questions, and I'm sure you will have some questions. Mehran already raised his hand. I will ask one more question, and hopefully you can get to it quickly. Ethical considerations. The use of AI in analyzing biological data raises ethical considerations, particularly regarding data privacy and consent. Ensuring compliance with ethical standards and regulations can be complex, especially when dealing with sensitive health data. What steps in DeepCell you're taking to address these ethical considerations, particularly concerning data privacy and consent?
I mean, we definitely
you have good lawyers.
Well, I mean, we offer the customers with very clear terms, but there's one thing fundamentally: if your unit of data processing is an individual, is a patient, then the concerns around privacy is at a much higher stake than when the unit of your process is a cell. So, and for us it's the latter, right? So, like even if I have the full sample of a patient, just by looking at the cells, I cannot tell like which patient it is coming from. And so for us, I guess we're privileged to be in a simpler use case that the privacy is not, the first thing that we have to tackle, but obviously we take it seriously.
Okay. We have 5 minutes, and I would like to start with a question. I have some more questions if there are no more questions. Mehran wants to ask the first question, right? And we need a mic Do we have a mic? Can we use, yeah, why don't you use Mahyar's? Go ahead, Mahyar, yeah. Until we get the other mic.
Thank you. My name is Mehran, and congratulations on your success. It's very impressive what you've accomplished, and maybe one day you'll also teach a side course on how you make a company like yours and marriage work at the same time so well. So that's a whole other subject. But my question is this: I want the scope of the question, the basis of the question is regarding the scope of the cells that you now analyze, and you started by talking about a specific type of cell within a pregnant woman's body that you identified, and that leads to certain implications. In my field, which is human longevity, one of the 12 hallmarks of aging as of last January, and it's expanding now, is called senescent cells, or some people call them zombie cells. And these are cells, as I'm sure you know very well, stop dividing, and through that process, then they secrete certain chemicals and other components that lead to inflammation and eventually disease. And the scope of my question is are you at a point where even that type of a scenario you can identify, you can address, you can use AI to kind of come up with implications of that?
The short answer is yes. A little bit longer answer is that we have a few users who have specifically evaluated REMI on longevity applications, both looking at senescent cells and also looking at therapies. So we're seeing one particular company, which again, we can't reveal their name, that at least by looking at the cells, it looks like their drug is working. So there's hope for the future. We want to actually get access to that drug now, seeing the results. But the beauty of AI is that, of course, in a lot of cases, we are super excited by being able to scale up what a physician, a clinician, a researcher is doing right now manually. But in a lot of other cases, we're seeing that AI is revealing information that's very hard to see by eye. I don't know how many shades of gray a human eye can detect, but the grayscale pixel is 0 to 256. I don't think that's the scale that even the human eye can detect. So we're really excited by it.
We have another question from Castro. Castro, please introduce yourself and tell us where you work.
Hi. Congrats on your success. My name is Castro, and I work at Google. We could be colleagues, but no. So actually, I got my PhD in machine learning and healthcare. I work with Johns Hopkins and UCSF hospital. My question is very short. Explainable AI. Do you explain the AI to your customers? Like, is it a automated process that basically boosts up the trust? Because when I say to a doctor that this is a disease and my machine learning says that this guy or this woman has cancer, they say, well, okay, why? We don't accept that. So what is the logistic for that?
Yeah, I mean, great question. One of the things that we see over and over is that our customers, they cannot just take AI as like, okay, well, it works, right? They need to know why, how. They actually want to publish papers, with our instruments. So they have to explain it to their own audience. So for us, the interpretability problem is a very important one, and we have done several things to bring interpretability to what we do. One is, in addition to what the black magic called deep learning does, we also just measure everything that the human eye can see and explain. So meaning like, what is the cell diameter? What is the elongation ratio? Well, everything that you could put in like a word on it, we measure and we explain, right? So that's one part. The other part is that, you mentioned hallucination. So hallucination is not necessarily a bad thing, right? If you actually can use your AI to hallucinate about what would have happened if you take your point in the latent space and moved it around, how would that cell would have changed? That would basically explain what your embedding space or the latent space look like. And we do things like that. Of course, it's the starting point because it seeds a hypothesis in your user's mind, and then the user could go and investigate that. So the short answer is it's very important for our users, and we are looking at many ways to add interpretability. We welcome people who have thought about these questions. So yeah, come and talk to us.
And our last question comes from the lady over there who would introduce herself. And
my name is Mahbub Davar, and I have two short questions. First of all, I noticed
just one, please.
No, it's very short. Both of you are co-founder. Who is the founder? Maybe I missed it at the beginning. Yes?
They did it together, yeah.
So the founder is both of you?
Three of us.
Yes.
We have three co-founders.
Three co-founders.
Oh, three co-founders. So there's no founder, three co-founders. Okay. My other question is, I assume that is not a non-profit organization, so are you willing to sell your company to a big company?
It is for profit.
It's for profit.
For profit.
Yeah,
So,
they raise
so you
money,
can
they
sell it.
want to make a lot of money.
Yeah. Are you willing to do that?
To do what?
How
to
much?
sell it.
Yeah, let's make a deal. We get 10% over here.
I'm not the buyer, but I am thinking about it. So thinking about someone else.
Any serious offers would be negotiated over there. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your presence over here on behalf of the community, Iranian community, Persian Tech Network, and Plug and Play. We thank you for the time and the attention you paid over here.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. There you have it. Another Plug and Play night and another fireside chat. I hope you enjoyed it. Now it's the time that you can use your skills to go to people that you don't know and either tickle them or get to know them. And that would be the networking part. Thank you. سلامت باشید.